Hey, it's Dr. O. Hope you're well. I wanted to show you that image. Actually, it looks very similar to my glasses, actually. Clarity. We're talking about communication here, but we're talking about clear communication. Now, in the field of communicating with impact, which is obviously an area that I specialize in, one of the things that comes up a lot from people is, well, how do you take information, get it across in such a way that it's clear so people can see? Because some people might hear you, but visually they picture your message or hear what you're saying in a clear way. They can even feel it, by the way, but that's another conversation for another day. So I've got several things I want to tackle with you here, which I think will really help you in any communication, whether you're going into a meeting shortly, whether you're going to give a presentation, whether you're gathering people in your workplace, whether you're speaking to customers, clients, an audience, maybe on a personal level with family. Sometimes people come away from a meeting or an engagement with you and you might be feeling like, I don't think they kind of got what I was trying to say. And if you feel that frustration, that pain, or you've noticed on occasion you've come away from a meeting and you don't feel like both parties have got the best out of that meeting, particularly because you haven't been as clear as you would like to have been, I think you're going to find this really useful. Let me just move my camera around a little bit here and get this information up for you. Okay, so there's 5 things I want to tackle with you here as I go out of clarity. Hold on, let me just try and put that on. And yes, look at that, putting my glasses on and the camera refocuses. All right, so number 1, you cannot be clear in any communication unless you know what the outcome is that you want to achieve from this. Now, if you've worked through any of my CWI programs, you've been on a live event with me, gone through the online video or the ebook that I created, you'll know that this is one of the first key steps out of 38 components that you've got to go through, and that is outcome. You see, if you start going into a meeting with lots of different outcomes and your brain is thinking about this and your brain is thinking about that and another part is over here and your body language is kind of over here, the person watching you is going to be confused and they won't have clarity on what you're trying to say because they're following all these different lines of communication that you're giving out and they're thinking, but what's the point of this? And have you ever had that situation where you're watching something, you're like, what's the point of this? What are they trying to get to? I just want to get clarity on what they're trying to say. So unless you've got clarity on your outcome, without a doubt, they're not going to have clarity on your outcome either. So that's the first thing. But the second thing is you got to make sure that you know what the outcome is that they're looking for. Now, a lot of people overlook this. They go into a meeting or a presentation or whatever it is, a talk, and they go in and they're all excited, which is great. Excitement is important. But they don't stop to question, ask, or find out what the outcome of the other person wants to achieve from this communication. Because remember, if you can align your message, your outcome, with theirs, a lot more clarity. But if they're coming in looking for something over here and you're trying to point them up there, no one's going to have clarity. But what are you talking about? I'm trying to find this out. And you go, oh, I didn't realize that. I was coming in to talk about this. So make sure you're clear on what the outcome is they're looking to achieve or expect from the engagement with you. That's number 2. Number 3 is keep it simple and create impact. So I've got 5 points here. I could easily have had 25 points, but imagine 25 points on this video that I'm giving for you now. You'd have been overwhelmed and it wouldn't have been that clear for you. Whereas at the moment, outcome's important, yours and theirs. You also know that you've got to keep it simple, and simplicity doesn't mean, well, this is the message that I'm trying to get across to you. Simplicity is just taking a complex idea and simplifying it. Like, for example, out of this video I'm creating for you, you could just simply say, outcome is the most important thing. Why? Because if you're clear on your outcome and they're clear on their outcome, you can find a way to match that together. Keep it as simple as that. And use impact, and there's several ways. If you go and watch some of the other videos I've created, you'll understand that there are different ways to create impact when you're communicating. But remember, that can even be as simple as just pausing. Because pausing allows the other person to process and they get clarity on what you've just said. Third thing is watch them. Now, I can't see you in this video, so I'm going to assume that as I'm communicating, knowing from the literally hundreds of thousands of people I've spoken to over the years, that as I'm saying certain things, I'm going to get a certain reaction from you. But particularly when you're face to face, you can look at their eyes, you can look at their facial gestures, their breathing patterns, what their shoulders are doing, what their body language is doing. And that will give you lots of clues as to whether they've got what you're talking about, or they've got what you're talking about. See, you can never tell until you actually watch somebody really close up. And then the final thing is pace yourself. So don't try and chuck all the information in too quickly and you compress it down. You go, blah, 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 blah. And they go, I didn't really understand that. Whereas if you've got 5 minutes or 10 minutes or 15 minutes or an hour, think about how you want to pace those key messages, tied into the outcome, tied into the simplicity, tied into the watching, tied into the impact. Pace is very important. All right, so hold on to those 5 things. Go and experiment the next couple of days. Try in any situation. Doesn't matter if it's a 2-minute conversation or a 2-hour conversation. You can definitely apply these to get more clarity. Have fun, and I will see you on my next video.